So, hello. We are here in Vienna, not in Berlin. In Vienna, in the Gallery of Peter Gaugy, within an exhibition of you, Gonzalo.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the exhibition, or
the
motivation behind it, or?
Yeah. First, Sky is falling asleep on the desk of the time. It's an exhibition that collects the last year, 1 year at least, 1 year of research from a really new, for me, it was a really new kind of approach to my art after the pandemic. I decided to do something a bit different. And since I have an idea of this poetry, automatic writing poetry, I decided to propose this exhibition to Peter that collects the poems, some experimental images coming from this human reading code that create images, and from that start point, I developed a body of works to.
Have you always been writing poetry?
No.
You're not a poet. You wouldn't call yourself a poet.
Somehow,
to start with,
all the artists are somehow poets. But
their art is poetic.
Yes,
but it's not the same like you call yourself, like Pablo Neruda, famous poet from Chile. He is a poet. You're not a poet in that sense.
I have some potential. I never exploited, I think, in poetry. But
as a young boy, did you?
Yes.
With 15?
Yeah. When I'm depressed, Huh? when I'm depressed.
Depressed. Oh, in love.
Yeah. In love as well, and I started writing during the pandemic, actually. So
poetry for you.
Yes, but not poetry. I started to write more tales, histories, in an imaginary world. So fiction,
But not fairy tales. It's
just fiction.
But fantastic tales.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you did these writings first really just for you?
Yes. Yeah, just
because you felt good by doing it?
Yeah, I needed to do something during the pandemic. Yeah.
So back to here. You just published this book here with the help of Peter Gaugy, and when there are 33 poems inside, we should read perhaps one of these poems.
You can, yeah.
Aloud. When there are, I don't know how I should call them, but I think somehow I feel the word abstract is not totally correct with them. They are, in German one would say sehr spröde. It's like very dry. It's like, and a love poem, or Pablo Neruda, or is very fleshy, is full of sensuality.
Yeah.
These poems are like zero sensuality. So you say when the pandemic started and you were closed in, you were in Berlin?
No, I was in Chile.
In Chile, okay.
Yeah.
So you started writing these stories. But these stories probably were full of warmth, flesh, fantasy?
Yes.
And this is the contrary in a way.
This is another thing. It is
like on the other side.
Yeah, actually, when I need to bring some ideas this is my engagement with public. The histories I write are just for myself.
Private.
Yes,
it's private writing.
Yes, maybe one day I will publish them, but this is what I want to show to people. And this is an idea. It's more concrete. It's more.
You mean there's a concept here?
There is a concept inside of it.
So, with the help of this concept, which has to do with digital technology. Mainly, we come back later to it, etc. With the help of this concept, it makes you feel stronger or more sure to go into the public?
No.
Is that like a help for you?
No, but I feel this something more universal.
I see.
You know?
Not
something
not
that,
subjective.
Exactly. That it can touch everyone because everyone carried this technology in his pocket.
Yeah.
You know,
with a smartphone.
Yes.
Through the smartphone, who everybody has,
almost.
We are all part of the same digital universe.
Exactly.
At the same time, this digital universe and the languages used by these guys in Silicon Valley, we don't understand much about it, no?
Yes.
It's very near to us, in our pocket, on the air, and at the same time it's very far.
Yes.
Do you see somewhere?
This is this is exactly the point I wanted to show in this work, which is kind of a democratic way to see the image and the code, because in one side you have the visual part of a code.
The visualization.
Yeah, you have the code. Maybe if you are not programmer, maybe if you read one of these poems, it will be the first time you will be able to understand the code of a digital image, because the poems are inside of the code. So when you read the poem, you see exactly the translation in a visual way. If you open a picture of a tree, you open it in a
photographic book.
You have a digital image of a tree, for example, and you open the code, you will not understand what is inside.
But we never do that. I would not know where.
You don't need it.
No. That's why there is the medias, the technology do that for us.
Yeah, but
let me interrupt you. In fact, you operate in a triangle within 3 points, and you see yourself as a translator. There's a code, there's a text, there's an image. That's the triangle, no? And you operate within that triangle?
I insert the code, the text inside
into the code, which creates an image.
Exactly. So the text becomes the code.
Yeah.
And the computer translates the text
into image.
Into an image.
That's what I call like a triangle.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, in a way, your work is about translation, which is for me interesting because you are born in Chile. We will come back to that, which is because I find that very interesting. What the Germans like to call the global south. You're a perfect representation of the global south, whatever that means. Born in Chile, you work in Berlin. But how many languages do you speak? 4 or 5?
Almost 5.
5, yeah. And so you're a global person, a typical nomad person. I would say a type of intellectual which today is rather frequent, which was less frequent in the 19th century when traveling was more difficult. So you move anyway in between continents, you move between languages, and here in that triangle, you're also a translator and moving around. It seems to me like the overarching, I use a technical word, paradigm. One could call that like the paradigm of your life?
It could be. You know, I always been really enthusiastic to share to my friends and to my family and to people, my colleagues, what I see there and what I see here. Yes, yes. As I tell you, I am really. In that case, I was really enthusiastic to share the amazing landscape and energy that Atacama's desert has. You know, I wanted to.
How is that desert?
Oh, it's
Talk about
amazing.
it. Mhm. It's in the north of Chile.
North of Chile.
It is called the most dry desert in the world.
Yes, yes, because it's very salty. So there's not, you know, you have big extension of nothing, just salt in the ground.
Yeah,
and it's super dry, and
in Wikipedia says there is zero rain the whole year. They say zero.
Yeah, but you know, with climate change, it's becoming more rainy.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that
So there is vegetation suddenly. It's green.
yeah, near to the river.
Yeah.
Yes, and more in the mountains.
Okay.
It's more. Yeah.
But in any case, it's an extreme place.
Yes, and really high.
Yes,
So
it's 2,000 meters now.
2,600 just the city, and then you can really easily
Into the
3,000.
Andes.
Yeah, 3,000 till
Yeah.
5,000. The highest mountain is 6,000.
So let's come back to what I find the most interesting part so far in this conversation is how you describe yourself, and one can really feel that it's very true what you say, that you like to share actually, and bringing together and linking together. So let's put that still, to have that in the middle of our conversation perhaps. And so you were not born in the north of Chile, but in the middle of Chile, in Valparaiso.
Exactly.
How do you pronounce it? Valparaiso?
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso. And your girlfriend is also there.
Yes.
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 And so your parents are still alive?
Yes.
Then they live there?
No, my mom's living in Calama.
Aha.
That's why I go there.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
She lives up there? Is
Yes.
she an artist also?
No, my mother. No, she's an engineer. Yeah.
An engineer?
Yeah, and she
Works for Codelco?
No, she has a company with her husband, and they have a kind of engineering service for mines, but they are independent.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, a small
like
company.
A small supplier of engineering
they create machines.
Yes,
They're
I see.
planes of.
And
the
your
machines.
father?
My father, he's living in Switzerland.
Oh, you have a very global family already. In Switzerland?
In Switzerland, yeah.
In the French part of
In
Switzerland?
the French part, in Lausanne.
Uh-huh. What
Yeah.
is he doing there?
Oh, he always work with the hands, and he repair and create amazing parquet, you know, decoration.
The old, very
mobiles.
old. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as my interest is still with this linking interest of yours, did you feel an urge already when you were like a boy of 15 years or 20 years? You went to study in Valparaiso, art studies. Did you have already at that time this interest to bring together?
You know, I think one of the biggest conflict was in art and thought was when I was trying to do something in art. In one hand, I had something super abstract and geometrical, and the other hand, I have always something
like when you were a student, for example.
Yes,
at the university.
Yeah, even child, more younger. Something so really, you know, geometrical and rational, and on the other hand, I had something very figurative and expressive, colorful, you know, imaginary. And I always wanted to put them together.
Why?
Because
this would be a unity.
Yes.
a synthesis.
Yes, because I feel like for one hand I have my something more spiritual and something more rational, and I feel this is still like this in my work. I working with always with two universe between two,
One could call it like a male and a female.
I don't know.
Left, right, night.
For me,
day.
it's light and material, spirituality and physical.
Yeah.
In this work, in Bitmap Poemarium, you see that as well. You have two parts. You have the synthesis or the physical, the visual part of the exterior part. The outside. Yeah, this image, and the other side you have the interior. The inner part of. The code.
Yeah.
Inside there is a poem.
Absolutely.
And you have the left part of the brain and the right side of the brain.
Which are brought together. Which are put together in a frame to be looked at.
Yes. Also in my RGB paintings series.
RGB is like the ending of an RGB format of eine Datei.
As the
that's from computer
color system in screens and light system. You have always when the light is divided, and you have these three basic colors: red, green, and blue. And it's the same way it works the screens. You have pixels, and each pixel is divided in three parts. And the intensity of the red, the intensity of the green, and the intensity of the blue create variation of colors, and you see more redly or yellow or green, etc.
I interrupt you. Were you this house of your mother in the north of Chile? Does it exist since long? I mean, were you as a boy already in the desert?
No. So I spent a lot of time in the same house near to Valparaiso. When I was boy, I say, "Oh, this is so boring. I want to change my house or moving around. I don't know." And now I don't find a place to stay fixed. But the thing is, I was born in Valparaiso. Then my mom moved with her husband to the north, to Antofagasta, and I lived there for 3 years when I was
Antofagasta.
When I was teenager.
So the interesting thing I'm chasing here a bit, as a young boy, already teenager, you are in Antofagasta, which is on the coast itself, but the desert is just next door, is nearby.
Yes, yeah.
So do you discover then the desert?
Yes.
Does this impress you? Does this inspire you? Does the desert... I mean, I'm a European. I'm a very typical European. And so I've never been to South America. I've been in Africa in the desert, and I know what the desert can do. So when I look at your work, and your sky work, which we will talk afterwards, and I see this translation thing of yours, which is not that easy for me to really grasp why that is so great. That's why I find it interesting to talk to you. For you, it's much more immediate, much more concrete than for me. So I'm kind of thinking, is the desert by itself, which is a very absolute space, and when I read this morning that in your town of where your mother is, Calama, there is no vegetation, no rain, so I thought to myself, yeah, of course, this artist, he then looks at the sky. What else do you want to look? There's nothing else. And then he starts working with the sky or goes into digital universes. So that's the background of my question. Is the desert for you in the north of Chile, which you discover when you are a teenager, is that a trigger for your work? getting you in a certain direction.
No, I think it's not.
Is that a made up of a European?
Yeah, no, there are my main work. I think it's my migrant background, which was a most important trigger than the desert itself.
Yeah.
I rediscovered the desert much later.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I was there, I was sick because the altitude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I wouldn't say that I enjoy that much.
Yeah. Did you feel your lungs?
Yeah, the first time.
The air must be thin.
I couldn't
Breathe.
breathe.
Yeah.
But I discovered that there are amazing places that was, so different that I could imagine. When I was there the first time, I rediscovered this. Okay, everyone say, "Oh, it's so boring. Oh, the desert is."
Desert is not boring.
Yeah. People, at that time, people say that, and there are just few locations there where you can go and enjoy San Pedro de Atacama, and very touristic places.
It all depends what you call enjoying.
Oh,
getting drunk or what?
no, having good food, go take photos.
Yeah, then you should go to London or Paris or New York, not to the desert.
But for me, it wasn't really amazing to be there. Which was amazing for me was to be to have a somatic experience in a new place.
Yeah.
It changed my.
Induced by the place.
Yes. Yeah, I was there and I feel a physical effect.
What is happening here?
Yeah. It's like another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is another planet.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was important for me. But I rediscovered the desert maybe in 2010, maybe, when I went to Calama to visit my mother for the first time. And then I could enjoy with other eyes. And then I feel something much more spiritual into it. I feel like I could contemplate the desert and to be inside of me, and at the same time to be like outside,
yes,
near to the universe.
Exactly.
So for me it was a revelation. I don't know.
Yes.
And also, you have this extension of nothing, and suddenly there is a small plant, pushing there.
And you're very amazed.
And it becomes a white cube.
Yes.
But whatever you put there, they take the focus.
Yeah, it's a white cube in reverse.
Yeah, yes. And the impression of the amplitude.
Yeah.
And then I understand why the indigenous people, original people from there, they venerate the nature so much because the landscape, the sky, the water is sacred.
Of course it is, yeah.
And everything is sacred.
Exactly, because it's so scarce. I mean, our world of today, Western civilization, has created abundance. Too much abundance. Also information, way too much. And you travel the world as a migrant artist back and forth. So this is also a polarity. Abundance in the Western world and the scarcity, the utter reduction in the desert.
Yeah, but the desert is a special place. It is characteristic, but its own. It's not that.
Sure. If you don't have water and you are left alone, you die.
Yeah.
In 5 days, you're dead.
Mm-hmm. But indigenous people there has also this this kind of best perspective of the to living there. I could learn also about the philosophy of them and to bring it in somehow in my work, which is not the most important part, but is part of my inspiration of this last.
Let's make perhaps a jump now. We are still with the desert, but you have a part of your work is about the sky, or looking into the sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which seems to me logical and natural if you're in the desert. I lived once in Africa in the desert for 3 weeks, and we slept outside. I mean, the desert at night is just the most incredible experience.
Yeah.
So you have part of your work, which is in the next room, is about the sky.
Yeah.
Or what is the sky for you?
The sky for me is something that we can share all around the world. I start to work with the sky much before to work with the desert. I was in China and I start to work with my computer because I had an accident. This is another history. But I start to work only with my the screen of my computer, and to talk with my mother.
Because you were fixed with...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have an accident in China. I broke my foot in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, good Lord. So there's a lot of traffic there.
I was 1 month on the bed, and I had to do an exhibition.
Yeah.
So all I have in front of me,
was your screen.
Was a screen, and I was really material. I worked with materiality before, So since then, I started to work with the screen.
Ah, this is a switch in your work.
Yes, this is a big switch. And then
did you paint before? Draw?
Yes, but always like some conceptual.
I think like a conceptual artist must be something like.
Mm-hmm. I was also figurative.
Ah, yeah.
I was painting figurative, but also cutting it
in a conceptual way. Mm-hmm. So you're in Shanghai or wherever?
Yes, in Shanghai.
In bed or whatever, screen.
A screen.
And then the sky comes?
And talking with my mother in the desert. And it was funny because it was the opposite part of the world. And we were talking, 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, and suddenly they were to make a tour, family tour to the beach, the desert, and I say, please share it with me,
No.
And she started to show me, the landscape with the phone.
No.
And she started to show me the sky.
No.
I was, and the image, with the glitches.
What are glitches?
The glitches are this accidents occurring in the transmission.
Ah, okay.
So I have this landscape in my screen in real time with the sky completely blue, but full of glitches. Yeah.
And these glitches were other colors or just like disruptions?
Interruptions. Yeah. They can express itself like in different ways.
Yeah.
And since that, I started to work with the sky, and then to ask her to show me in real time the sunrise, while at the exhibition I was showing the sunset.
No.
Actually, it was in Korea. Actually,
okay. But in Asia anyway.
Yeah.
And anyway, also with the time.
Yeah.
How do you call it in English? Zeitverschiebung.
Yeah. It is.
So sunset there, sunrise here.
Exactly at the same time. And since that, I start to let's say hack. It's not real hack, but hack webcams around in the web to catch security cameras around the world to have sunrises and sunset and
at the same time.
Yes.
Now happening sunrise
exactly
everywhere.
And I programmed a schedule of sunrises in the world, link it to webcams in the world, so I could show sunrise in real time all the time.
It doesn't make you that crazy?
I don't know. No.
No.
What I wanted to show.
No, it's the contrary, actually. It's the contrary. You like that very much.
Yeah, I mean, we are connected all the time, by these devices. Now we are not living anymore in the real.
In Vienna. Or in Berlin?
Yeah, but young generations are all the time in the cell phone. They are living in another world.
Yeah.
They are not taking more care. We are not taking more care of the physical reality, of the nature. Yeah. So we can be in another universe, and was translated in a digital way. So it's why I wanted to show natural phenomena in a digital translation. And the glitch, the glitch is so important because it's the expression of the technique itself. It's the digital materiality. Expressed in the nature.
There are two things which are interesting there, I think. Let's stay with the glitches. First, I'm a generation older, at least, than you, and I come from a background, also in art, where and we know all about Duchamp and about, how do you say in English, le hasard, der Zufall, coincidence. How do you say in English? Coincidence, Zufall. And you see what I mean?
Yeah, hasard. Hasard. I would say hasard.
Yeah, how say it in Spanish?
Hasard.
Hazard. Okay. Glitches are hazard. For me, it's hazard. If you are in your bed in Shanghai and the sky from your mother and glitches, this is a hazardous happening thing. And you fix it or show it in an exhibition, so you introduce the hazard in your work. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Because here, in these poems, you have also hazard.
Yes.
The way you produce these texts, by choosing on your smartphone what your smartphone, you start, let me explain a little bit, or you do it afterwards, how these evolve. You start on your smartphone, which you bought a first one in like 3 years.
20.
Yeah, a Chinese one, Xiaomi, and which was virgin from the factory, and you start to type in your text messages to your friends, family, whatever in the world. And so, of course, the smartphone, the machine suggests further words to go on, to be quicker when everybody knows that. And so with the time, the machine starts to know your vocabulary, which you use most often. So this you have used like a trampoline to produce poetry, because you started to interact with this machine and take it and use what he suggests for putting together sentences. So there is, for me, a hazard element in it. But I read a bit your preface to this book, and I'm asking myself, and you have also a quotation by Marshall McLuhan, the most important media sociologist of 20th century, a genius probably. And the question behind all we are talking here with machine learning, artificial intelligence today, and chat, GPT, is the big question about consciousness. And you mentioned the word before, unconscious. So when this hazard element comes in, which for me, I'm a dull person, I would just say, oh, it's just hazard, nothing else. But it seems to me, that's my question, is there, like for you, does the unconscious come in? Is that like a road where the unconscious flows in? Is that like that?
For me, this is not a real hazard. This accident are always provoked by something. In the communication, with satellites, the code becomes a package, and the package goes to a physical world. It becomes waves in the space, and sometimes they collapse in the space.
Good Lord. Okay.
Yeah, and when the receptor receives the information,
it is hurt. It is.
Yes, and there is something missing.
It's broken. Yeah.
Yeah, it's broken. So the computer has to replace it.
And we don't know about
take
it.
a decision. Okay. So the code
once more
take a decision for us to bring it, to complete.
So I get delivered instead of Coca-Cola, I get Pepsi-Cola.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. And ask myself, why is this shit?
And then there is a physical reason why there is
something
something
changed.
Exactly. And in my paintings, you see some dots.
In your former paintings or in your work now?
Both.
These bitmaps?
Both. Both. The paintings.
The bitmaps, do you call them paintings?
Yes.
Because you do them by hand?
Yes. Okay. And paint with paint and acrylic on paper or oil. And there are glitches, and this that allows the technique to express itself. If without accident, without the glitches, it will be only a flat surface or just a black surface of color, a monochromatic surface. But because the accident, you can see something. You see a composition. So it creates the composition itself.
I interrupt you in a stupid way. It's like your accident in China, which produces, because you are immobilized, and you have to do, and then it produces work. It's a bit like...
I think my accident in China was most important. Probably more
in your
important.
biography.
Yeah. Yes. Was more important.
But in any ways, you're interested in all kinds of accidents, be it physical or out there, and what they produce.
What I am interested in is in the expression of the technique, or the result of a process.
Yeah.
All my works are the result of a process.
Yeah.
It's not just interpretation of something.
Yeah.
Is okay. I start from here, and let's see what's happening. It is generative art.
Yeah, that's that's a very good term.
It's a generative
what you
art.
do. That's true.
What is more important is the process.
Yeah, but let's. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's take the most famous painter of the 20th century is Picasso. And he's quite a different artist than from what you do. Would you agree?
Oh,
but he also would say, stop. He would even talk Spanish to you. Yeah. He would say, stop it. I'm also only interested in the process. And this is so true. He makes hundreds of drawings in a day. He numbers them to show the process. And yet your art is very in the starting base.
Yeah, maybe the starting
is very
base.
Different.
Yeah, maybe in the start could be something different, but the process is quite different. I feel like Picasso enjoys better than me the process.
Yes. It's for him, in a way, I would say it's easier. He sticks with paint, liquid paint and the brush, and sometimes the easel, whatever, he chisels something or whatever cuts. But for you, I would say today's world is much more complicated than the world of the physical world, not the political world. The physical world and technological world today is much more complicated, and you are a child of today's technological work. So if you say yes I'm a child of today, I'm a citizen of this technological civilization, and that's my starting point. So your work becomes more complicated.
I'm an observer. I never feel 100% comfortable with all this technology. I have to say, I'm an observer, and I like to see the behaviors of people.
I think a layman coming into this beautiful gallery here in Vienna and looking at your very beautiful work, he will immediately sense, oh, that's beautiful, but enigmatic also a bit. He will switch, his eye will go from the grid, the bitmap, to the so-called poem. And he will start to read the poem and say, doesn't make that much sense. In Vienna, we have an old poetic tradition, concrete poetry, and Germany, which in a way so-called worked a bit like that, but it's much more sensuous.
Yeah.
There's more content. And here it's very abstract or dry. I have another question, perhaps about this abstractness in your work. For me, abstractness. If you talk to a European, and you're in Berlin, if you talk to Berlin people who are very political persons about Berlin, every second will say, Allende, Allende, no? And Pinochet. So in our mind and memory, Chile is a country, a very special country, not only in its geography, long like no country in the world, but with terrible political history, big disruption all the time, which is of course true for the whole of South America. I mean, the United States are in for something, but let's leave that outside. When I look at your art, and you're living in Berlin and going back and forth partly, I ask myself, are you also a political person or not? Or are you, in a way, because this political reality is so difficult in Chile, that you say, good Lord, I prefer to work with the sky?
I am. It's why I am running this project in the Atacama Desert, and this is my concern. It is important for me to have this social concern with my country. Actually, I don't feel super comfortable with my artwork there.
Because it's too far away? It's too aloof?
Because when I'm there, I'm seeing that there are much more important topics to work in. There are much more work to do after to look at, after a painting, a geometrical painting, So I decide to do this engagement with my country.
It's also an experiment.
Yeah, and here I'm doing. I feel more comfortable and more free,
Relaxed in Europe.
Exactly. To develop my artwork.
Your thinking.
Exactly. I also want to add something. I'm sorry, maybe we are switching.
With pleasure.
About the AI technology. You asked me if I could use it to do my artwork. I think, I will do when I will think something with sense, because I don't like. So when you have a new technology, you try it and you experiment the possibility, the aesthetical possibilities they have.
The what?
The technical possibility or aesthetical.
Aesthetic.
So it creates this effect and this words and this blah blah blah, and then it needs to be a sense behind why you are doing that. I could use, of course, AI as a tool. When I have an idea, I can with an idea and with a technique. This is the point where art bright itself, when you mix, or is the conjugation between the idea and the technique. Is that create poetry.
Absolutely.
This conjugation makes art. Because only technique, only technology, or only effect
is shallow,
is empty,
shallow,
and only idea is a discourse.
Is too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to combine
with
them.
AI, the thing seems clear. That's a superpower. And I would like to say, we are just human beings. And this is already such a superpower that if you approach that mountain, that superpower, as a little human being, as an artist, you better know what you want from that superpower. Because you want a balance. Your work is about balance, one could also say.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes, sure. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You say left-right hemisphere. Picture, poem, code. It's always about balance in a way. You try to, and you say you like to make links. As a translator. This is in a way always about balance. You were in China, and I was thinking about yin yang.
Yeah.
In a way,
Yeah.
which, I mean, the Chinese are very strong in that, in looking for balance. I mean, not in the political, but in the old philosophy
it's true.
or medicine. And so with AI, which I would call a superpower, you understand what I mean? This because it's so forceful, incredible. As an artist, if you approach that and you ask that mountain, please, let's cooperate, you better know what you want not to be crushed.
Exactly.
I would have this intuitive
I always
image.
see that like a tool.
Yes, yes.
Like a tool.
Yes.
And can crash a lot of works, jobs, human, related process, distribution of mercancy, or
What?
I don't know.
Revolution?
No. I mean, this artificial intelligence can replace a lot of works they in the society.
Sure.
We have.
It will.
Yeah, but I'm not. Art is made by and for humans.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that AI could, think and have a deep reflection. Can be absolute amazing illustrations.
Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing illustrations, but not art itself.
So what is the purpose of art for you?
The purpose.
Every artist will have
Yeah,
different.
I think it's a human necessity, a need to think, to reflect, to understand, and to answer questions in sensitive way. It's similar to philosophy for me, but in philosophy we try to find solutions, or we try to find answers. But if in art we leave it, maybe the answers are more sensitive or more coming from the inside. I don't know, with the sensitive of contemplating something or to understand something, and it belongs to everyone. It's more personal, more spiritual in that way.
I hear, when you talk like that, I hear somewhere a kind of consciousness in you about, I don't know the exact word in English, responsibility. In German, Verantwortung.
Yeah.
Responsibility. What would be the term in Spanish? You see what?
Responsabilidad.
Uh-huh. Is that an important dimension in your thinking?
Yes.
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 I guess so.
Yes. I can't do other way. I mean, I could do in many different ways, but always related with the with art, creativity, thinking.
So let's go back to the desert, and you see the reality of the children there, how they grow up, of the workers, of the people there, and you come, in a way, you are a fortunate person, no? Is that okay? Is that right?
Yes, yes.
You're a fortunate person. You
Yes.
travel the world.
Yes, yes.
You find possibilities in Berlin, in Vienna, etc. And you go back and forth. So in a way you are a bit fortunate, no?
Super fortunate.
In comparison to some people in Chile, in any case. So do you feel some responsibility there?
You know, many people has also the possibility. I wasn't. I didn't grow up in a family and how you say
A rich family.
A rich family.
Yeah.
My father was migrant,
Migrant from where?
from Chile to Switzerland.
Yeah. But he's born in Chile.
In Chile, my
Yeah.
father, and my mother is a normal person, you know, very working very hard, and I feel like I really feel fortunate, but not because I have the resource to do it, the monetary resource, but
Our resources,
I always have this idea in my mind I wanted to travel, to show my work since I was 3 years old, maybe.
Since you were 3 years old?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I took a pen in my hand, I wanted to be an artist. So,
No.
yeah.
When you were 3, you can remember?
I remember I was in front of a white sheet of paper, and I have a pen, and I was making a spider.
No.
And someone said, I don't know who was, and someone said, "Oh, this guy will be an artist."
No.
And I say, yes, I will be an artist. I want to be an artist.
And you're 4 years old? 5?
I mean, 3,
6.
I don't know. It was this image.
So this was allowed to grow.
To believe in something.
Uh-huh.
To believe in something.
And
know.
this belief is still there in you.
Yeah. This keeps me.
Is that part of your soul?
Yes.
Of
I
your
mean,
art?
I could keep keep my artwork, you know, and to do something else so many times in my life. I could do something else. Like,
I'm joined the business of a friend. Or...
I'm also a programmer, so I could also.
Did you learn programming?
I learned programming. I learned programming to understand what is behind the screen.
Ah, that's interesting.
I studied 1 year at the university to.
In Valparaiso?
No, in France.
No, good Lord.
And. I think this is what it keeps me, you know, doing my work.
This vision?
Yes, because I also have, you know, many, you know, times.
Ups and downs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm a migrant. I'm a Latin American. I'm nowhere in. I'm no one from nowhere. In the city where everyone wants to be an artist.
In Berlin?
In Berlin.
Yeah.
So I have to find my way. It's
I mean,
easy.
For me, this is really, in that sense, you are, in a way, really very representative of a part of our world, of our time, of the civilization of today. Being everywhere, being at home everywhere and nowhere. Yeah.
Somehow, yeah.
It's true. And I think this must be true of many people. I mean, if you ask your father, you say he's a migrant, but what about his fathers and uncles and so? And I worked in Africa as an anthropologist in the 70s in a culture in Burkina Faso, in a village where most of the people had never traveled more than 20 kilometers away, by foot, of course. There were no horses and no cars and no motorcycles. And today, this world of today, and of course digital technology comes into that, because without the smartphone, I think at least half of that today's world would look different. People would not travel that much, would not.
Yeah.
I mean, you also probably, if there would be no digital technology, would you probably either be in Chile or either be in Berlin? Stop it. Like Picasso went to Paris and then more or less stop it.
Yeah, I didn't have a cell phone or when I left Chile in 2006.
Yeah.
So I remember I had to go to telephone cabins to call my family with a card.
So the migrant aspect was always there.
Yes.
You like Berlin?
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it.
Why? Is it so open?
It's open. It's international. It's big. It's a big city. I can find many
universes there.
Yes, I can. I have everything I need. To be. If I can go to the nature. I can go to party. I can go to the city. I can. Yeah, I feel like I have everything I need.
I think we will wrap up this conversation with the last question. What is your dream for the future?
Oh, happiness. To be quiet and happy. It's not that I'm not happy now, but things, maybe it's to keep this happiness, to be a happy person.
Does the spiritual, would you envision that in the future, when you grow older, that spirituality might become more important for you?
Yes. Now it's important, but since I think it's proper to my age, I want to grow in a professional way. I want to make more exhibition, career. This is very important. I'm very focused on it.
Yeah,
now
it takes energy. Yeah.
But I want to, after that, to be happy. With my girlfriend, with my family, with in a nice
surrounding
house. Surrounding with good friends, healthy. I think this is my dream.
All best for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.